Everybody, welcome to Enjoy the Show Reacts. This is the spoiler-filled.
I didn't know this had a different. I like it.
Enjoy the Show Reacts. This is the spoiler-filled review of Deadpool, the movie. Again, spoiler-filled.
You should rephrase it. This has spoilers.
All kinds of spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, mute this, let it play, make our watch minutes go up.
Yes, please.
Go see the movie, then come back.
Watch it again.
Drag your finger across.
No. Refresh the page.
Do that.
Start it again. Spoiler.
It has spoilers in
You
it.
broke his penis.
Some old people might
Did it
know
fall?
that. It has spoilers in it.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It just lost a little
And
bit
live
of...
from New York, it's Saturday night. Okay, I just had to say that. I'm done now.
Deadpool joke.
That's impressive.
Oh yeah, rock hard dick.
All right, spoiler. It does have spoilers though. They might not know what spoiler-filled means. If some old
That's
people
why I
watch
said
it.
we need to rephrase it. This has spoilers.
This
We're going to
means
talk about the plot. We're going to talk about
Stuff that
the
happens.
ending scene. We're going to talk about everything. I mean, you can't really spoil this movie because it's a Deadpool movie, but we're going to do that anyway.
It's a very simple plot, but the jokes are peppered throughout in you know, the reveal of that story. So it's a story that you're not going to be surprised by, but how they execute it and all the jokes they throw in and the hilarity that ensues is where it makes its money.
So there was So the major plot hole for me. I'm just gonna unpack this real quick. The major plot hole for me is that he goes from like really in like a loving relationship, but at the same time he's kind of like a merc a little bit.
Yeah.
And then finds out he has cancer. Homeboy comes up and says, "Hey, I can fix you." Burns his face, and then all of a sudden, she doesn't know where he went. He's just killing people in the red suit.
Well, we get the...
That bounce back and forth could have been...
Well, we get
her...
We get the feeling that they're both a little bit dysfunctional people in the relationship.
Oh, yeah. And they really like fucking each other.
Yeah.
They
They work well together as a couple. But they're both dysfunctional people. So I see what you're saying. They could have gone into a little more detail about that journey.
Because all of a sudden, he's just...
Yeah. What it was, because of what he knew would come with the decline in his health, because of the cancer he had in like 7 different necessary systems of the body, he didn't want her to see him in that decline. He didn't want to bring her through that and drag her through that whole journey. So he just up and leaves one night. So that's what he's talking about. There's no...
All of a sudden, he's laying on a table.
Yeah.
Don't make the suit green and animated.
Yeah. I mean...
Well, I mean, I don't think that they needed to show him like walking out of the apartment, getting in a car, driving to this place. It's like you can have a jump cut to the table. We know how you got there.
Oh no, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that it's kind of like there's like a little bit of disconnect there for me. It's like
dramatic leaving of the story, of the
as far
couple, and then a joke.
No, as far as the story is concerned, like,
and I get it.
He's with her, and then all of a sudden he's not, and there's no explanation there.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I think because it's Deadpool,
the explanation was that he didn't.
They wanted to get back to the
see
inappropriate sexual humor and the one-liners.
Wait,
and that's fine with me.
Was Wade Wilson Deadpool?
This fucking guy.
Okay,
I didn't introduce everybody. Dylan, Chad, Vince. You just Dylan, Chad,
I'm Dylan.
Colt, Vince.
Colt.
I'll do it again at the end. Just stick around. Follow us on social media.
Hi, Paul.
He's not Paul.
So I didn't mean to break y'all's concentration. I just thought I was really quiet. I just thought I'd say
So that was Dylan's main gripe.
But that's the only gripe. I really don't have a gripe.
I had another gripe.
I mean, like, for me, like, this is a movie that you go into. We went and saw it in a theater that you can drink at, which made the experience better for me, I guess.
We did not all drink. I didn't.
No, not everybody drank, but, like,
either.
I'm just saying, like, it...
I love crude, vulgar, highly inappropriate humor that you would never show your mother. And
I'd watch it with my mom. My mom's dope though.
Really enjoyed it.
Unless your mom's an
My
old...
mom loves Breaking Bad, and Jesse Pinkman is her favorite character of all time.
Oh, then you would see this movie.
And
Mom.
I would not watch this with my mother. And
She
I
loves Breaking Bad. You wouldn't watch this.
thoroughly enjoyed this movie.
What if your mom's an old, blind, black lady that lives in an apartment?
Oh Christ.
You like Star Trek?
Vince.
Chad, you're allowed
It's-
one
our time together-
trolling comment.
Our time
per
together has
video.
been great. And if I don't see you again, I want you to know I love you.
And also,
Oh, and there's 140 kilograms of crack cocaine buried in the apartment right next to the cure for blindness. Good luck.
What we're talking about, the Oracle from The Matrix was actually in this movie, and that's
Both of
Deadpool's, That's Deadpool's roommate.
in one character, minus the paycheck.
I was talking about the movie references. There's a couple. I know we talked about the movie Cocoon.
assume everything Chad says is a trolling comment.
This is no trolling, I promise. The Cocoon.
That right there is a trolling comment.
It's a movie I believe it came in the 70s. It has a bunch of naked old people that find the youth, like the fountain of youth, and they stay young forever. Anyway, they're like naked in it.
That
He
is
made
clearly a
reference to
trolling
it. He
comment.
made a reference to that. Google
Yeah.
it if you don't believe me. Did you guys get the one Cobra comment about the matches? About the Sylvester Stallone? Did you
Yeah.
get-
Sylvester
Cobra,
Stallone.
Cobra, okay. And then
Elaborate on that a little bit though.
Sylvester Stallone was in a movie called was it Cobra?
it was called Cobra.
He was a not a mercenary. He was like
Dirty Cop.
he was a police officer, but he had his own way of doing things, kind of like Dirty Harry a little bit.
Kind of like
But
every
anyway,
Stallone movie.
He
he's
always
been in.
had a striking match hanging out of his mouth, and everywhere he went, he wound up using it in Cobra in that movie. He used it like in the final confrontation, but that was a
course he
staple of
did.
the character,
It's
and there's a main
Chekhov's gun.
character that has it as well, and he loves to use movie references if he can to
There
call.
were so many.
The,
There was like
the,
five.
the movie Deadpool as a character takes shots and references a lot of different movies
Yes.
as the movie goes on,
and he's not
including
afraid
the
to
after credit
reference his
scene.
own movie.
That's the other thing that's funny is that Ryan Reynolds, who plays Deadpool, references Ryan Reynolds movies.
And they reference Ryan Reynolds in the movie, and he references the movie that you're currently watching. The XMen joke, when he goes to the mansion to pick the two of them up, and he's like, "It's such a big house. I only see two of you ever here. I guess it's almost like the studio couldn't afford a third X-Men."
This is a spoiler-filled review, so we
Yes.
should probably talk more about the actual plot of the film.
Let's real quick just throw in our ratings that we gave it on the spoiler-free one. So I gave it a 9 out of 10. 9
9.5 for me.
8 out of 8. I don't know for some reason, and then 8.
8 out of 10. Like I said, I really enjoyed it, and the only reason I didn't give it a 10 out of 10 because I really enjoyed.
What's
it.
your other gripe? Get that out of the way.
Colossus?
2 CG? Is that
No. The fight with Strong Girl and Colossus. I don't know what her name is. Strong
Because
Girl.
they didn't show the titty?
No.
Oh, that's my gripe. You need to show that titty. She was stacked.
Colossus should not be able to be hurt by someone. I mean, the dude can like stick his arm into helicopter blades and just destroy the helicopter, and his arm won't even move. But he gets into a fist fight with this girl that's really strong.
Her character is called...
I don't know. She's the one that had the match in the mouth, by the way. They call her all kinds of vulgar names.
I have a point to
Such
what
a
you're
good
gonna
movie.
say.
But anyway, he had a much harder time with that fight, and she was really, really doing some damage to him, and that should not have. I mean, I understand.
Well,
At one point, she like punches him, and he like flies. Like,
To be
and
fair,
he's 6.
He's 7 feet.
He's
at
7
least.
7 feet,
3 inches.
solid metal.
There's this one point where she grabs a steel cable, like a suspension cable you use for a bridge to support a bridge, and she comes up. He's laying on the ground. She comes up from behind him and puts it around his neck and starts choking him. And he's like,
He
like
just
it's,
kinda gives
like
in a
it's
little
choking him.
my name is Arnold.
When you're made from a metal, what can a steel cable do to you? It's a flexible metal.
I have the answers to y'all's questions. This is my own personal
No,
opinion.
he doesn't.
No, I promise to do. So
I'm done.
Colossus in the movie was kind of a gentleman, right? He didn't like swearing. He didn't like to look at boob.
He is. He's
or
from an
a
older
boob.
time.
Yeah, he's from an older time.
He
Maybe
was also Russian.
He was also Russian. Yeah. So maybe he was.
Terrorist. Is that fair to say?
I was gonna say maybe he purposely
Dumb joke.
was letting her get some hits in, because to be polite towards her.
Maybe he
When he-
wanted to get it.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say when he
that's
took
what I
his
was
pants
thinking.
off later.
Yeah.
He probably wanted to get a little bit of it.
She
Sorry.
was
The plot though.
attractive.
Vodka.
Okay, now that
I like strong dark.
all three of you have weighed in,
I haven't waited.
pertaining to
Go
yeah,
ahead.
you did. Pertaining to the Colossus thing.
Yeah, you did.
She didn't do much damage to him in the way of actually breaking through his whatever that metal skin is.
If you punch a guy and he falls on the ground
But-
and he sits there while you choke him out, you're doing something.
Yeah,
the laws of physics state that the force has to go somewhere.
This is
So
a comic book movie.
if she
Vince.
hits him with enough force,
no,
he would go
this-
fly.
No, this is a comic book movie.
Well, another
so
thing-
physics don't matter.
Her power was
A
super
guy's
strength.
made of metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, her power was
Where
super
in
strength.
physics is a guy made of metal?
Her power was super strength. This is what they said in the movie. Not a strong bone structure. Not anything special about her skin. If you go punching metal
She was sexy though.
she was.
Yes.
If you
Deadpool showed us in the movie what happens if you punch and kick at a metal person.
Yes. So
I'm doing the T-Rex.
she. Yeah, she should not have been able to be in that fight. I had somewhere to go. Oh, okay. So Colossus,
take us on a walk.
Colossus, 7 feet tall. This girl, normal, average woman height, and she gets in a chokehold by him, and he picks her up off the ground. Now at this point, she has nothing more that she can do.
No leverage.
She has no leverage. If you are off the ground and the person can hold you off the ground, you're done. There's nothing you can do short of flipping around them and trying to do something. But that's not what she did. Somehow, she, just does this and winds up feet back on the ground, and then she just throws him. And I'm like...
It goes back to my theory. He let her win because
It's called the rule of cool, Colt. If it's cool, it will happen.
Anyway, that's my only gripe from this movie, and that whole fight took about 3 minutes, and most of it... Again? Most of it was off screen, because Deadpool was happening. So...
Jeez. Yeah, it's bad.
Anyway, so that's the only reason I didn't give it a 10 out of 10. I would probably rate it higher than 9 out of 10 if I were doing decimals, but I'm not. So I'm good. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
There's gonna be a jump
Look-
cut somewhere in here.
I could rate it this way. Instead of giving it a number, I'll just say I will buy it on Blu-ray.
I will buy it on Blu-ray.
There.
I won't.
There you go.
yeah, I'm good too.
I will buy it on Blu-ray.
I won't.
I will buy it on Blu-ray.
Okay, so the other thing that we have to kind of get into, Marvel movies have a solid track record,
Yeah.
of linking all of them together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not all of them.
All of them from their studio that they have the control over.
Exactly. Who made this? Which studio made this? Was it Fox?
I
I'm
don't
forgetting
remember.
how they switched so many
I
times.
don't remember from the beginning. I think it was.
Well, they
Fox
reference
owns
X-Men.
X-Men, yes. Fox owns X-Men,
And
Sony
Fox
owns
owns
Spider-Man.
X-Men.
I'm trying to remember the production logo that came up. I'm pretty sure it was.
It
It was
Fox.
20th Century Fox,
Yeah,
right?
Fox. It was
21st.
Fox.
I
Okay,
forget the
21st.
logo because the opening credits were so funny.
Everything
Everything was funny.
second of the opening credits,
That was the best
everyone
part.
in the theater was rolling. Absolutely.
That was the other thing that I have to bring up too is everybody was. This was a movie experience where everyone in the theater was laughing out loud
Yes, literally.
to the numerous jokes. I mean, this is a spoiler filled. I'm gonna say it again, so we have to kind of get into a little bit of it. So Ryan Reynolds' character, Wade Wilson. He is a
Why are you hosting the show?
right. I've been drinking all day. He's a mercenary. Finds out he has cancer. Some guy comes up and says, "I can cure all your cancer." That makes him invincible, and then he turns into Deadpool. That's literally all you need to know about this movie. Fair?
That's the story. Oh, and then the last part of the story
Is the love interest.
he has to rescue his love interest from said villain who messed him up in the first place.
Yeah,
And has
exactly.
access.
That's the story. Now, as much crude humor as you can stuff into that, they tripled that, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it
It's
was
absolutely
Uh,
impeccable.
at one point he spells her name out in dead bodies.
No, it's the villain.
His name
Because
out.
the villain
His
has
name's
a
Francis?
Yeah.
Yes, the villain has a horrible name. His name is Francis, and so
Oh,
that's
I thought
why
that was
that's
her name.
That's why he's like, when he first introduces himself, he says, "I'm Ajax," and Deadpool calls attention to it later. He stole the laundry cleaning tag off of his lab coat.
Dry cleaning tag.
Yeah, and it says Francis
Freeman.
Freeman.
Oh,
That's his
right.
name. And he goes, he got Ajax from the dish soap.
I forgot about
And
that
so
joke.
from then on, the villain was like, "What's my name?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna spell it out for this guy." And he kills all of his henchmen and lays their bodies out. And it says,
and he
Francis.
dots the eye with a head.
a head. No, it's an entire upper like cut of a torso. There's an arm, one shoulder, and the head as the eye.
As the eye.
Yeah,
He didn't kill the one henchman from Jacksonville. He let him live. He just knocked him out.
because they served together.
Yeah, they were friends
They had
in
worked together.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah, and there's a lot
Knocked
of
him
that.
out and then continued to ask him questions.
There's a lot of that too. There's a lot of course, if like Vince can tell you, if you read the Deadpool comics, Deadpool's a character obviously that breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah.
So throughout the whole movie, he calls attention to the camera. At one point,
yes.
he wipes the lens clean.
Broke the fourth wall in breaking the fourth wall.
That's
That's like
exactly.
16 walls.
There's like a smudge on the lens, and he like reaches over and,
it's
wipes it
gum.
off.
It's the gum.
It's the gum.
bubble
Yeah.
gum.
He like pulls gum off of the roof of a taxi cab he's riding in, and he's trying to get it off his finger, and he flicks it, and it sticks to the camera lens.
And then he pulls it off.
Yeah.
He will take time out of like when he's with his cohorts, look at the camera and say cue the music.
Yeah.
I mean that's in the trailer, but
He's
it
had
still
moments-
works in the film.
He's had moments where he'll be narrating something like while it's happening, and then the people around him will be like, "We can hear you."
Yeah. It's not for you. It's for them.
It's a very it's a very
great-
self-aware
Yeah. And it's
comedy.
It's hard to do comedy without having a level of self-awareness, which
True.
this movie has.
Back to my gripe though. My second gripe, I guess. All the comic book movies from out of Marvel's camp have linked, with the exception of the X-Men, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which is cool to have that kind of meta element, but I don't think it's necessary for every single one of them.
Correct. But then before this movie comes out, we get the news that SpiderMan, which is owned by Sony, will be in Civil War, right?
Mhm.
So then that gets all the fans all riled up, dicks hard, hoping that the X-Men will be a part of the Avengers series eventually. Then there's an after credit scene. There's an after credit scene. There's an after credit scene. So we sit through the entire credit. It's not one of those mid credit scenes where like some credits roll and then the scene happens and the rest of the credits and the movie's over.
The movie was low budget compared to
Yeah, there wasn't many credits. I was about to say the credits went pretty fast.
the movie. The movie was very low budget compared to any
Avengers.
X-Men title. Well, I mean, let's just keep it in the same studio. So
Yeah.
any X-Men title.
Oh yeah,
Had a
because
way
Days
higher
of Futures
budget.
Past had to have been.
But they did an incredible job
that movie's
with whatever the budget,
fucking awesome.
whatever the budget they had was.
And Apocalypse looks awesome.
Yeah.
So you would and there's 2 X-Men in this movie.
Mhm.
So you would think that there'd be some kind of X-Men tie-in.
Well, they keep bringing it back to making Deadpool an X-Men. Is what they keep bringing it back to. That's why the X-Men keep coming back in.
It was kind of a...
There was that... I'm sorry.
No,
I'll
go
let
ahead.
you finish. Kanye. I'm pulling a Kanye on you. There is the after credit scene where it's kind of like would you say like a bathroom door? Kind of, because he's in a robe, but still has the mask on.
Kitchen, maybe.
Yeah.
Kitchen,
Well, I mean,
something like
from
that.
now on,
He makes
I
a
think
Nick
he's
Fury...
going. From now on, I think he's going to be in character at all times.
No, that makes sense.
For the camera.
But
So even when he's in a bathrobe or taking a shower, I think we're always going
he's
to see
gonna
him
have
with
that
the
hood
mask.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah. He makes a Nick Fury reference, but that's about it.
I think it was more of a meta reference than saying that they're related.
Yeah.
No, that
He was
makes
calling
no,
attention
that's-
to the fact that it wasn't neatly connected to everything else.
Yeah.
See, and that's my problem. If you're gonna, I don't like this. I don't like all this Marvel.
There is something
you
in
don't
the
like
credits.
being teased by multiple movies and then being left hanging on the edge.
Well, it's if you're gonna.
There's a fun animation when the credits first roll, but there's also a scene after the credits. So sit
Yeah.
there.
It's
sit and
a
watch
Marvel movie, people. Okay,
But that's
stop
my-
getting up and leaving when the credits start.
That's my problem, though. It's a Marvel
this was
movie.
Marvel?
It has the comic book. Everyone knows that moniker at the beginning
You think?
with the pages flipping really fast and then
hope.
it panning out.
Yeah.
And it says Marvel. But when more than one I understand that more than one studio owns rights to different,
Universes.
yeah, exactly. But if you're gonna, I mean, The Flash is gonna be on Supergirl, and that's across networks. That's not even like The Flash and Arrow, because they're both on the CW. Like, The Flash is going over to Supergirl, and Supergirl is on what, CBS?
Don't look at me. I don't watch it.
CBS, ABC?
I'm not a big fan of DC or Supergirl or CBS.
The Marvel TV shows, in my opinion, are much better than the DC
Yeah,
shows.
we're not DC fans.
That's a bold-faced lie. He's lying to you. Because there's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Daredevil.
That's on Netflix. It doesn't count.
Is that a show?
Oh,
That,
it doesn't
but it's on
count?
Netflix.
Is it a series?
It's on Netflix.
I'm
That's
not talking
on
about
TV.
cable.
But
I'm
that's
just talking about television series.
Yeah,
Series.
Netflix
Serial.
isn't television.
I would argue that it is.
That's a different topic.
Based on its utilization in the household.
While-
Okay,
while
so
they're-
series. We'll go series.
Okay, but
Episodic series.
the fact that just as a point, the Flash can go across a network.
Yeah.
And go on another show.
He is pretty fast.
Great joke.
What do you mean?
It's fantastic.
Fantastic.
But I don't like, and then Sony decided to play nice with Disney, saying, yes, you can have Spider-Man.
Which is another thing I don't get, but that's okay.
Well, all right.
Spider-Man was a bigger part of the X-Men universe than ever was with the
which
Avengers.
leads me to believe that Fox won't play nice with Disney.
Yeah.
Because the deal that's worked out, as far as I'm aware of, thank you, is that
Chad Goss, wordsmith.
exactly.
The
Sony
nth time.
Sony and Disney came to an agreement that said, you can use our characters, we can use your characters, but we don't make money off of each other's products. So you can have Spider-Man in this movie, you make the money. We can also have Iron Man in this movie, and we make the money. That's what it appears to be like for me.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why you have the Marvel moniker and Stan Lee doesn't whip his dick out and say, hey.
Oh, he sold it all.
Yeah, but he's
I mean,
the man, though.
Yeah, I know. He's awesome, but
should we
sold it
spoil
all.
the fact that Stan Lee is in this movie?
Well, this is the spoiler one.
This is spoiler. Go ahead.
Greatest cameo
Stan Lee's in
I've
this
ever
movie.
seen.
Stan Lee's in this movie.
Greatest cameo I've seen him in any
Explain
movie.
it. This is the spoiler filled
He's
one.
in a titty
He's
bar
he's the DJ at a strip club.
at a strip club, and there's
And coming onto the stage now is
Victoria.
Chastity. Or as I like to call her, irony.
One cool thing I thought too.
You
was,
can't buy love, but you can rent it for 3 minutes at a time. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Go ahead, Chad.
Oh, I was gonna say one cool thing I thought. This
allowed to get up.
strip club
This is
reminded
my-
me.
This is my apartment. I'm allowed to get up.
Was the actress who plays Deadpool's girlfriend?
She's sexy too.
Yeah, well,
It's Inara from Firefly, and
Yeah.
she was also in
Gotham,
V.
and she's also in Gotham. I don't know about.
I
She was in-
wouldn't know. It's DC.
She's yeah.
V,
she's in
the
V.
rebooted TV show
Yes.
with the aliens. Okay.
And she's
She's
also
the the pictured character.
well, she's also in
of the
Homeland.
series.
You're about to say titular.
I was gonna say title. But
Well,
I haven't seen an episode, so I don't know.
Basically, there's the lovemaking scene or boning scene or whatever Deadpool.
There's a
would say.
few.
Or they're
There's also subtle references where,
subtle.
well, I mean, it's full blown.
It's the worst heart ever.
But like the camera was panning and like Deadpool makes
It's
the
in the
heart,
fight at the end.
and then like
He's on the
does
ground.
This.
He's got his ass beat, and he's like, it's in slow mo. He and his girlfriend are both laying on the ground, and he looks over and he's like, but it's the worst heart ever. It's like this, but he goes like that, and then it cuts to her, and he's having hallucinations of these weird animated creatures all over her. One's licking her face, and it goes back to him, and he's like,
hand drawn,
yeah,
hand drawn images.
Well, he recently sustained. Let's call it a bit of a head injury.
yeah, traumatic brain injury.
back to my point. I was saying like basically in certain movies, and this is from like a film enjoying the concept of the movie point of view, not just seeing boobs, which boobs are good. I want to clarify that, but in certain movies, whenever you see a naked person or something, I think sometimes it takes away from the story. You get distracted,
You do see.
but you don't see hers though, and that I'm
She
glad.
doesn't have a penis.
Well, no,
You
don't
do see
her.
penis at least 3 times in a fight scene.
Yeah, but you never see her the girl actually from Homeland, and I know in that movie, in that TV show, she actually gets naked a lot. I'm pretty sure in Homeland. I know she has a topless scene in the TV show Homeland. That's on Showtime, and she's played in a lot of different other shows.
I'm gonna have to Google that.
Well, anyway, she if you're welcome. But anyway, but in that scene, I'm glad they left her where it was still like a sexy scene where they're making love, where it still was really sexy and like it got the point across. It was joking, it was funny, and it was still like a good sexy scene. But I feel like when they give too much nudity, sometimes it takes away from the scene, kind of in certain aspects, because you get distracted by the nudity. And so I really like the way they did that. Like it was still sexy and funny, and the scene worked really good that they didn't show any actual of her skin.
I will say, if that was really Ryan Reynolds' penis, that was impressive. Just putting that
I
out
think
there.
It probably was.
It was. Yeah.
It probably was.
This was impressive. That it seemed totally flaccid.
He hasn't done anything good since Waiting, so he probably was like, "Do you want to go full frontal?" And he was probably like, "Ain't got nothing else to do."
It wasn't full frontal. It was just in the middle of him being thrown around in a fight. It's like boom.
I think you're talking about the butt part, right? Where you.
No,
it
what I might
was
be
when he
thinking
had his
Yeah.
clothes like burned off.
It was when
Oh,
the
yeah.
building was on fire. He's already been turned, and the lab coat catches fire.
Oh,
and he
that's
just takes
right.
it and he rips it off.
I missed the penis, I guess.
If you missed it earlier,
The camera was here up in that shot, but then a fight ensues between him and the villain, and it's a wide shot, and he's totally naked.
So
Ryan Reynolds penis?
There were 3 shots of.
if you missed what I said earlier, this was a theater that allowed alcohol. Maybe I missed some Ryan Reynolds dick.
Going back.
I thought you were going
As-
to call
okay.
it Rod Reynolds.
So back to my point. If that was his, it was an impressive specimen.
So we covered nudity.
You have to push your glasses up when you
violence
say that.
Was
Favorite kill scene?
The violence was
Yeah,
it wasn't over the top.
I thought it was gonna be for sure.
oh man, I loved that movie.
I thought it was gonna be way darker, way more.
the one
You know?
the one scene.
But he's a comic book.
I still thought it'd be darker though. The
I mean,
comic's pretty dark.
in every sense of the word, he's a comic book character.
and it translated very well onto
Yeah.
the screen.
Yeah. For sure.
That scene with the
Nobody's getting hurt. That
this-
guy was already here when I got here.
the scene that's in the first trailer, but this is actually all played out, and it's very close to the beginning of the movie. but he counts his bullets because he forgot his
Magazine.
His ammo bag.
ammo bag. And then as he fires, you see the shells come off, and you get a close up.
And they're numbered on the primer.
And they're numbered on the bullet. And he constantly makes references to how many he has left.
Yeah.
And then there's one really nice shot where it goes in slow motion, and it's in the trailer.
It's because he wasted what he had
On
shooting
one
this
guy
one guy
who
that shot
really
him up
annoyed
the butt. So he has 1 round left and 3 dudes, and they do a really cool acrobatic little slow mo.
That's the other thing. The CG was
Perfectly executed.
yeah, it wasn't bad at
Perfectly
all. I mean,
executed.
all the slow mo. Obviously, that wasn't Ryan Reynolds doing the crazy flips and spins.
Well, it could have been. I doubt there was a person doing a real flip. I'm sure it was someone in a harness, and I'm sure that everything around him was CG'd, but it was done very well.
Yeah, exactly.
He had a mask on. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
That's another thing. No crappy stunt doubles.
It could have been one of the guys from the band Ghosts, for all we know.
I have nothing to say to
Or
that.
if anybody
I know.
catches that reference, that's cool. If you don't, that's cool too.
I don't have a clue what that is.
Dylan,
The villain, if you can't place him, is the young Frank Martin from the Transporter movie reboot,
Reloaded?
Refueled,
Refueled?
not the television series on TNT, not that one. He was also the first Dario Naharis in Game of Thrones before they swapped him out.
Oh, the guy that got recast like 4 times?
Yeah. Well, no, Dario Naharis was only cast twice so far.
The Mountain was cast like 3 times.
Yes. But it's fine because they only show his face for 2 seconds in a season.
Different show, which we might do. Put it down in the comments if you want us to do Game of Thrones reviews. That could be something else we do.
Yeah. It's a great show.
Put thumbs up on this video if you want to see us get drunk,
Fight naked
and babble
with
about
Ryan
Game of Thrones.
Reynolds.
just comment something, even if you're like, hey, you guys suck, or hey, thumbs up, or hey.
Yeah. Side note: let us know if how we can make
Improve or continue.
improve the content. What we can do to make things better, because we wanna do it for you. Whoever's watching this.
Don't be afraid to leave bad comments, because there's nothing more cathartic than deleting those.
Yeah, and if it's a dick thing, I'll just ban you. So that's fine, right?
But constructive criticism is welcome.
If it's constructive, I'll reply. If it's you're just being a dick, I'll ban you. It's fine.
What about trolling?
Take
though?
your shot.
What about trolling?
Trolling in good taste.
Doesn't exist.
I don't have. Well, okay. Let me rephrase.
We're getting off on a wild tangent here. Maybe
I
we
love.
just call this show
I
Wild
love
Tangent.
reading. I love reading some good trolling comments. I really do. But not all trolling comments are appropriate. You can do it right, and it takes skill. You can do it right, and you can make other people continue down a rabbit hole of something that you already know, and you only mentioned it because you want to see them do it without bringing in, like their kids and their gender or their sexual preferences.
You can talk about my kids.
Unless you're Deadpool, you can do whatever you want then.
Spoiler alert: I don't have kids. You can talk about them though.
What if your kids watch this later and don't realize
I'll warn them.
that it was before their time,
I'll warn them.
and then they develop a complex
No,
because they think that you don't acknowledge them?
Because by then they'll read comments on contacts that's in their eyes, and they'll be like, "This fucking bullshit." Oh, getting a little hard. Okay, back to Deadpool. We got off on a little thing.
The origin story was too long. Did anybody think that? I thought it was. Just
I thought it was good, and I thought that the way they cut it up and spliced it in with the modern day was good.
Well, what he's saying is the movie opens with
Modern
Deadpool being Deadpool,
Yes,
and then
it goes back to
before he was. Then he's back being Deadpool.
Yeah.
Then it goes back to before he was, and it
It was a well-executed flashback.
exactly.
One
so,
thing I hate about
go ahead.
some crappy flashbacks is like
Next.
if you'll have movies where they go back to flashbacks and you're not really sure when that flashback took place. The point is it was before what you're currently watching, what is the completed body of work that you're viewing, but it's not really clear when it happened. In this case, it was all parallel. So you start here and you see a few minutes and it goes right back to here. You see a few minutes and it goes back to right where you left off and it continues and it goes back to here right where you left off and comes forward again until all this history is filled in, but not in a way that makes you forget where you're at in the real work. And I really liked it.
Exactly.
Two things. One is I've seen movies where they have a flashback, and then inside the flashback they have another flashback, and those are the worst.
It's a dream in a dream.
Those are the
Oh,
when-
you're talking
whenever
about the critically acclaimed film
no,
Inception.
No, that actually
That
works.
wasn't a flashback.
But the other
Movie's
thing,
so fucking good.
the other thing is
Never saw it. I'm just kidding. I've seen it.
there aren't very
I
many
almost
things.
lost my shit. Go ahead.
The
Sorry.
other thing I wanted to say is that
Jack Nicholson and Matt Damon.
the way that this story is told is done in a way that's very non-traditional, and if you're not willing to let that pass, then it might bug you. But
If you go there looking for anything other than a bunch of vulgar humor that is incredibly well executed amidst a simple story that can't be screwed up with great cinematics, stunts, and acting, then if you go there for anything other than that, you will be disappointed. If you go there expecting to see some weepy drama, chick flick, you'll be disappointed.
Even though
It is a love story.
that's how they marketed it.
Yeah.
Do you see those posters
Yes.
where they like?
He's the
Sorry.
one with Deadpool right on the front of the theater. He's sitting here just like this. That's all it's got.
Well, did you see the one where it's like all the bokeh with the lights behind him, and like he's out to dinner with the love interest,
It's just Ryan Reynolds, right?
and it says Deadpool, but like in really nice font, and it says
Because
this
nice font is
Valentine's
sexual.
Day. It says this Valentine's Day underneath it, and he's like smiling, and he's like Ryan Reynolds' gorgeous face. Like they,
So good. It's so good. Okay.
let
My wife's making
to-
faces at me.
Okay, real quick. To wrap it up, the end credit scene. You don't need to stay for it. In my opinion.
I would. Like we said, it's low budget. Comparatively, it's low budget.
But it's not a
so
Marvel.
the credits are short. You're not sitting there like Avatar credits.
It's an XForce. If anybody reads comics, that's pretty much where they're going with it.
Yeah,
Just say
explain
Cable.
that real quick, because I don't know
Pretty
anything
much,
about it personally.
Cable is a person that is a time traveler, and I believe it's him. Deadpool, Warpath is in one of the comics. A Bishop, I believe, is one of the ones, and I could be wrong. Any comic book people out there correct me, but pretty much, they pretty much can time travel, I believe. And X-Force is basically it'd be like a different version of the X-Men. It'd be kind of like how Daredevil and all them have their thing in Hell's Kitchen in the Marvel and like around that universe. They're not really Avengers, but they still have the Avengers. With X-Force, kind of helps the X-Men as far as.
So it's going to be Fox's version of the Avengers.
Possibly. It's just I think it's going to get some of the X-Men characters in there that we wanted to see that we haven't seen yet because
If you watched the animated series for X-Men back in the day,
Yeah,
if you watched that,
Yeah.
you'll remember every now and then Cable and that crew
Bishop and they would
just show up and help, like with fighting the Sentinels or whatever when Apocalypse came in and stuff like that. That's probably what they're.
They're not going to be able to compete with the Infinity War
but they're
Avengers movies.
they're pretty much just getting-
those Avengers movies, Infinity War Part 1 and 2.
There's so many cool X-Men they could get in there that would still, I think, could possibly not give them a run for money, but there's a lot of cool X-Men they haven't shown because they focus on the main X-Men, but there's a lot of mutants that are in the X-Men universe they could definitely make.
I understand
movies.
that. I understand that, but the Avengers, Infinity War, I'm not a huge fan of the Avengers 1 or 2. I don't like the Thor movies. Iron Man 3 was dog shit.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
All day long, yeah.
Pretty sure I solved this while I was drunk.
But the Infinity War Avengers movies, they can't, if they're gonna go that route with this franchise, they can't release those anytime near those Infinity War
Yeah.
movies. Because Josh Brolin
Well, what
coming
we
out of
know-
Comic-Con with the Infinity Gauntlet on got everyone a huge fucking boner, ladies included, for the Infinity War movies.
We
and this
know-
Civil War movie that's
Ladies
coming out,
included.
there's like Spider-Man coming in. Nope.
We know there's like 5 or 6 years between titles of the same character in the Marvel multiverse. And what I mean by that is like you had the Thor movie and then you had an Avengers movie before you had the next Thor movie. It wasn't like Thor, and then Avengers at the same time as Thor, or even really close to the second Thor. It was, and same thing with Iron Man. You had an Iron Man and a Thor, and then you had first Captain America.
No, but
First
what I'm-
Captain America, then Avengers,
I think
and
the
then you
Avengers
went back to
was
the
Iron
cycle
Man.
again.
Yeah, exactly.
Cole,
But what I'm saying
I
is,
think the Avengers was Iron Man 3, really. When you get
No,
down to
it
it.
was Iron Man 3 with the burning people.
When you get down to it. The Avengers was Iron Man.
what I'm saying though is that if Fox thinks that they can take on Disney with an X-Force movie,
I hope they don't think that it's a competition, because I don't. We'll
That-
be, we'll
but
be
they-
the ones
they-
to suffer.
That
they're
would be
the
an
one-
excellent movie.
but
We'll
they're
be
the
the ones
ones
to
that haven't played ball with Disney.
I understand.
And
And they may have their own
Let-
reasons for that, but if they make it a competition, it's different if you don't want to play ball. It's than making it a competition. If you make it a competition, the content will suffer, and we're the ones that suffer.
Let me be clear about
no,
my comments.
and they won't care because they want to make money.
Dylan,
like-
let me be clear with my comment. A great movie idea would be a movie about Marvel versus Disney.
No, you're
That
wrong
would,
there.
that would
because
be
Marvel,
a meta Civil War.
No, you're wrong there because
Would the
Disney
Avengers keep their
owns
powers?
Marvel.
That's what he's saying.
I think he means
Would-
Fox versus.
Would the Avengers?
You mean Fox?
Would the Avengers keep their power inside of Tron?
Probably, because
you know?
Disney owns all the monies. Disney has all the monies.
But the world is digital.
But Disney has all the monies.
They
They
have
can
to
do whatever they
operate within the
want.
parameters
Disney.
of the digital world.
Then
All
Darth
they
Vader.
have to do is take Aladdin out of the vault and say, "Here's the new Blu-ray," and they have all the monies again. That's how they gotta do.
Look, they own Darth Vader. They own Mr. Potato. They own Pabst Beer. They own Spinks.
No,
They own
can't say
all your
Spinks.
tattoos. I didn't.
Disney.
I said Pinks. I said they own
Disney.
Pinks.
Disney owns
You
Marvel.
can't say Disney.
Disney owns Star Wars. Disney owns ESPN. All they
Fingers.
have to do is play hockey.
And we're talking about like
He died.
Boston Canadian hockey.
I mean, if
We're getting a little off topic here.
Okay.
we are getting a little off topic, and we're gonna
I
wrap this
think my
up.
wife passed out. You don't even have to work tomorrow. I do.
We're about to wrap up. So, but in closing, Fox has to put their dick back in their pants, not have that measuring contest with Disney, and say, you know what? We want to make money just like you want to make money. Do you want the X-Men? Do you want Deadpool? Let's make a big fucking movie. Let's make 4 movies before that big fucking movie, and let's all make money.
Yeah.
And then everybody like us succeeds, right? Or not succeeds, but like
Everyone enjoys
enjoy. There
the
you go.
experience.
Or they say, you know what? We're just gonna pretend that the Avengers don't matter to the X-Men, even though they're in the same fucking universe.
They're like cousins.
They're cousins.
I'm not sure if they'd be able to combine the movies because
They're cousins that don't go to
Deadpool-
the family reunion every year.
the style of Deadpool would not work in any
Well,
movie
see,
other than Deadpool.
All right, what I brought
But
up.
that's the thing. XForce, they're all dark.
What I brought up to Chad earlier is how you could bring Deadpool in slightly. Is you get Spider-Man's origin story out of the way in Civil War. Then your standalone Spider-Man movie, you make it a hard R, you make the villain Carnage, and you have Deadpool help him.
If
Carnage-
he's true to Deadpool, though, he's gonna have a lot. Just like this movie, he's gonna be a lot of sexual humor and all kinds of other stuff that I think people that went to see Spider-Man
Well,
will be very.
that's the problem because you have to make Spider-Man not
You see what
like,
I'm saying? Deadpool can be a supporting character, but if he's true to his character and you went to see that main character, you will be disappointed.
Well, I was gonna
see,
say
that's why they'll
offended,
never.
probably.
That's why
Probably
they'll never do
offended.
it. That's why they'll never do it because you can't really have Spider-Man, because all the Avengers are marketed
They're-
towards kids right now.
Well, that and most of them are goody two shoes,
True.
primarily. Okay.
I think she's ready to go.
Yeah.
All right, that's gonna wrap up our spoiler-filled review of Deadpool.
Chad?
Any last comments?
Dylan,
Go see the Fifth Wave. Deadpool was awful.
Colt,
And I'm here to talk to you about the beauty of all-wheel drive.
Vince.
If you like anything you watched, and even if you didn't, maybe hit that like button, subscribe, comment down below, let us know what we can do better, and we will do that, or we won't, and I'll ban you. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you. What? Civil War is next?
The next time.
Same bat channel, same bat. Can we say bat?
Nope.
We can say bat,
Nope.
it's not bat.
Nope.
Yay! Bye.
Man.